Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Now today, for the first time in quite a while, I am in quite an interesting position. Because I obviously have been getting asked quite a lot about Gladiator. And I'll be honest here, I haven't done a single fight with Gladiator. I didn't get the early access bundle, I didn't have time to grind arena yet. So I do not even have a 5-star Gladiator, let alone a 6 or a 7-star. And I do get asked about it a lot, and obviously I do, well, get told a lot. And I have heard quite a lot of mixed opinions. But as far as people in my chat go, I will describe it as mildly and politically correct as I can, is that effectively I should lower my expectations once I actually do sit down to play Gladiator, because I think the most kind thing I have been personally being told about Gladiator is the fact that, he's not as bad as people say. And therefore, I'm making this video because I do want to collect more opinions before I actually get testing, because apologies for that. I do want to kind of know what I'm going to be getting into. And I do also think this is going to be a bit of a reverse experiment in a sense, because normally I'm the one sitting here saying like, this is what I think about the champion, this is, how he appears, these are the rotations, this is where I think he will or will not be useful. And I do try to be always as cautious as possible, because I do understand it is a very big responsibility. One of the most unfavorable or worst things, kind of like as a content creator, I think I can do to my viewer is tell them, like, just go ahead, buy and invest and grind and spend your time, get this champion, it's gonna be awesome, you're gonna love it, right? I'm always trying to be on the cautious side, realistic side, and if I do find a champion to be, exciting, great, I do say that. If I'm basing my video on early information, I always try to say, do not jump to conclusions, this is still super early on, and that's what I did with Gladiator from the early views and everything else. And therefore, not having played with Gladiator is putting me in, like, again, very interesting situation where I'm trying to be as honest as I can. When I get asked about it, I explain that I have very little to no experience with Gladiator myself. I can only go off stuff that I have been told and a few things that I have seen. And that I'm personally at the moment, not chasing the Gladiator. At the same time, obviously, whoops, that was the wrong clip. At the same time, obviously we can see that there is a very wide variety of fixtures. We have Gladiator is an absolute beast, Gladiator is pretty great, then we have how to defeat Gladiator videos, then we have very mild kind of contents, then we have, how to defeat Gladiator, just, generically, how good is the 2023 Summoner Choice Champion, that's like a really super hyped video, and we have, again, Gladiator destroys this, Gladiator destroys that. So there is quite a bit of mixture. And that's kind of confusing me a bit more. Therefore, before I jump in it myself, before I do commit to Gladiator in any meaningful, degree, I would certainly want to hear your thoughts. So if you could please leave a comment, and again, be realistic. Do not feel like you need to build the case for the champion, or perhaps if you do that. But let me know what I am going to be in for. Especially with the new Gladiator Arena coming out. I may or may not use this to, I don't know, at least try and grind out a 5-star. Maybe, if I have the time. Because 5-star, shouldn't be that many points. I might be able to do that. But, all that put aside, I did want to also talk that, at best, the reception for Gladiator has been lukewarm, right? And we do have the cases where a champion ends up shining afterwards and he's underestimated when released. We have had a ton of champions like that. Some of the more famous stories have been when Corvus and Proxima came out. All of the videos and everybody was super hyped about Proxima because, massive numbers, and nobody paid attention to Corvus because he took a while to kill a Winter Soldier. And then it turned out that Corvus was one of the top 5 champions for several years afterwards in the game. right? And we had similar situations with like Warlock and Sunspot when Sunspot got the shine and Warlock was like, oh, clearly not, as loved by Kabam or something like that. And stuff like that does happen quite often. And, we need to keep in mind that a lot of champions' usability does end up being defined by Kabam themselves with the content that they release requesting specific bits of utility. Obviously, we can't disregard everything that already does exist in a game because, for instance, like Quake and or Ghost, will always and forever have at the bare minimum set amount of value, regardless of how hard Kabam tries to, counter them. Similarly to Herc, everything that exists in the game right now, you can go on Herc, and if Kabam somehow Herc proves every single new champion, every single new piece of content, Herc is still going to be really, really valuable. But when it comes to the Gladiator, it's kind of like a bit of a condemnation, I suppose, at this point, because when a new Summoner Choice champion gets released, I mean, there's no more hype champion, right? Because number one, this is the champion that so many people wanted to see. And number two, Kabam kind of set the precedent with like everything and anything to do with Summoner Choice is going to be at the very least like really good. Like obviously not everything can be Hercules, but Quicksilver is still a great champion. Many people really, love him. Might not be as dominant or as popular, but still, he's definitely, in the upper end of the science class, or the upper half, I would say. And Omega Sentinel, again, in my opinion, somehow she has managed to become already extremely underrated, but there's no question about the fact that she's a quality champion. And at the very least, from where I'm sitting, it does seem like a failure. And that is without saying necessarily that Gladiator as a champion will be a failure. It's more so saying that, Gladiator as a community choice champion has definitely not met the hype expected for him. Again, the levels of hype are also fault of the community and part of it. But if you take a look at the champions released in 2023, and that's, what I'm going to do very, very briefly now. From, again, just going from what I have heard without having any definitive kind of knowledge, as far as I have spoken with people, Gladiator would be at the lower end of it. He wouldn't be in the middle. He definitely wouldn't be at the top. We have champions like Absman, Kate, Future Ant-Man, Cassie Lang, Lady Deathstrike, Silk. And now we're still getting buffs for like Will Vision and Shocker and, bunch more. Kind of obvious that Gladiator's probably gonna get tuned up. The question is, will it be enough? Won't it be enough? And, that's not where you want to be when you release a champion that community voted for, that community is super hyped. And I certainly want to follow this up. And, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion? I don't want to kind of like just make a really big, harsh condemnation video. I also, because I just can't. I don't have the experience. I haven't actually played the Gladiator yet. I'll certainly try to fix that once, I get a bit more free and a bit more set back to some sort of routine in my life. But meanwhile, in order to help me, I'd absolutely love if you guys could kind of help me out this time a bit and let me know exactly what you think about Gladiator yourselves. Have your expectations been met? Are you excited for him? Are you going to be trying to acquire him? My personal plan is I'll probably just save up some 6-star shards because I didn't, get super hyped for Vox either, and I don't have a 6-star photon. So it does seem like I'm just, going to be trying to open some 6-star featured crystals when they appear, and meanwhile, I'm not going to feel like I'm missing out on a ton. And, I have no plans on grinding for a 6-star, definitely. Even if I had the time, I probably wouldn't at this point. Who knows? Just because, don't necessarily see it myself. Maybe you do. Maybe there's something that I'm missing. Maybe there's something that a lot of us are missing. Anyways, a bit different video, a bit of a thought this time, and I always love hearing from you guys. And I do read every single comment that's left in my videos. Be sure about that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about